So that concludes part one, the history of addiction treatment. And what we see is that in the 1800s, addiction was treated by throwing people in asylums, which were basically like prisons. And there was not a lot of regulation. In fact, there wasn't really any. So there wasn't a whole lot of difference between drugs and medicine. And even medicine producers could make any type of unclaimed, unchecked claim about their product. Then, as we move into kind of the 1950s and we see things like Valium and Haldol and Thorazine, we start to see these treatments for mental health. We also start to see treatments for addiction, like the introduction of methadone in 1972. And we start to look at addiction having legitimate chemical hooks and being a medical issue, which I think we ought to emphasize more of. We still have too much addiction is a criminal issue and not enough addiction is a medical issue. However, even that storyline is a bit oversimplified and has incentives in being able to look at it as a simple medical story with a simple answer, which would be nice if it were just that true, but that's a little oversold and a little oversimplified. The third storyline in addiction really looks at the person in their environment and factors in for trauma. It factors in for disconnection from status or respect or meaningful relationships. And when we look at one's environment and their history, and we look at how mental health issues can sometimes lead to self-medication, that's when we really start to get a good picture of the person in their environment and how the environment and how our societal structures really also play into the history and treatment of addiction.